Okay.
So,
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Selling on Etsy and Instagram. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to get started. And just a little heads up, this meeting is being recorded, and the recording will be sent to you guys afterwards in an email along with the slides. And then there's a little workbook that I'll go into detail later. So here's a little bit about me. My name is Tennille. As I've said, I'm a transfer student. That's misspelled, but I'm a transfer student from Miracosta, and I'm currently studying at the University of San Francisco. And I sell handmade fine jewelry. And I have experience selling on Etsy, Instagram, and in markets like farmers markets and crafting markets. And I am a part-time seller, so whenever I'm not busy with school is when you'll find me selling the most. And that's just some jewelry I made in the photo. So for those of you who are not as familiar with Etsy, it is a website that's a global marketplace for unique and creative goods, and it's home to a variety of products and some services even that people are selling, from handcrafted pieces to vintage treasures. And it's basically just a place where people can sell their own goods to an already established buyer community. And that's the main great thing about it, is that there's already buyers looking to buy products. So with this little PowerPoint presentation, I'm just going to go over everything, and then I'm going to give you some examples by actually going on Etsy and Instagram and showing you through that. So the first step to selling online is deciding what are you actually going to sell. For some ideas, we can look at Etsy's top selling items, which are jewelry, stickers, craft supplies, printable and digital downloads, wedding supplies, and home decor. Obviously, these are always changing, so you don't have to pick something to sell that are in these categories. In fact, it might even be better if you don't, because then you're not in so much of a saturated marketplace. So it's really just what you want to do. You can do research and see what other people are selling. I've even seen some unique things on Etsy, like people sell psychic readings and custom logo designs or custom artwork. So it's really just whatever niche that you decide to go into. And here is the steps that you want to take and things you want to do before you go ahead and open up your Etsy store. So you want to create a name and a brand for your shop once you've decided what you're going to be selling. And the name is very important because that's how people are going to find you on all platforms. So you really want to take time to research that these names are not taken on Etsy or Instagram, and just take some time to write down any words that go along with what you're selling. But then also research, if you find a name that isn't taken, you want to research that there's not another seller that's selling products the same or similar to you, because that can get a bit competitive, especially when people are searching on Etsy. You also want to start making your product or stocking your product. And then you want to take photos of these products so you have your photos ready to go when you want to actually open your shop and start making listings. So you can take your time on this. There's no rush. Just start making up some stock so you have it ready to go, and it will make your life easier when you want to actually start posting those listings. Another great tip is that you want to create a separate email that you'll kind of refer to as your business email. And this is what email account you'll use to open up your Etsy and your Instagram store, as well as if people want to contact you, they can reach out through this email, so everything is nicely organized and you're not getting any emails lost. And then you also want to make sure that you have a bank account that you're going to use to deposit your earnings from Etsy into, as well as pay for the listing fees and Etsy fees. And I'll go more into the fees on Etsy in a later slide. So these are just the before you go ahead and open your shop steps. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me or interrupt me. I don't mind. Okay, so now that you've done your before steps, you're gonna go ahead and create your Etsy store. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you want to go to Etsy.com and you're going to want to create an Etsy account. And this will be separate from your Etsy shop. It's basically going to become your seller's profile. So you're going to want to use your name to create this, not your shop name. And then once you have that created, you will have access to Etsy as if you were a buyer. But in the drop down menu on the page, which I will show you, there's going to be a feature called Sell on Etsy, and that's what you're going to want to click to start the actual processing of creating a shop. And once you click on that, it's going to ask you to fill in your shop's info, like the language that you're using, what country you're in, the currency, and your shop name. And that's where you can enter your shop name. And then I can quickly show you where to find this. Let me just, so this is once you have this is on just my Etsy page right now. But as you can see, can you see it now?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so as you can see, I made this little fake as if I just started my Etsy. So it says welcome to Etsy. And then you see I don't have any profile pictures or anything, but there's a little on here. Oh, I think it's because I already clicked on the button when I was setting this up. But this little shop little cart icon, that's going to drop down and then it will come up with sell on Etsy. And then once you click that, then it will go into this where it's going to ask your language, the country, the currency, and then you can see the steps at the top: name your shop, stock your shop, how you'll get paid, and so on and so forth, which we'll be getting into. So once you've filled out the first little details that we went over, the most important step comes up and you're going to want to stock your shop. Now, Etsy will say that it's recommended on the page when you're on there creating listings to have minimum 10 listings to start your shop, but that's really unnecessary, especially if you're a part-time seller. Most sellers start by just putting out one listing so they know at least they have their page open, at least they have one thing that's stocked, and then you can take your time with getting more listings. So don't put too much pressure on yourself with that. But you're going to, every listing, it has a photo, a title, and a description with categories and tags, and I will show you this after I just go over it quickly. But your title is going to be the most important part because your title is how your listing is found. And then the second most important part is your photo, because that is what is going to make people click when they visually see what you're buying. So when you are making a title, you want to add keywords. A lot of the time on Etsy, you won't just see someone, like if I was going to sell a pair of like yellow earrings, you won't just see yellow earrings. You'll see it with a lot more descriptive words, and they might add commas and write the title in different ways. And that's because they're trying to use the keywords in the best way as possible, because that is what's going to come up when people type that keywords and they want their listing to come up when people are searching for the type of stuff they're selling. So you can also look and do research with keywords by going to other sellers that are selling similar stuff to you and looking what their titles look like. Obviously, you're not going to copy it word for word because you're selling different things, but it gives you an idea. And you can also search the product. Like if I was selling the yellow earrings, I would search yellow earrings for sale, and I would see what top listings come up, what their titles are, and how they look to get an idea of what I'm competing with and what I should add to my listing. For the photo, you just need one photo minimum, and that's going to be your thumbnail. So when you search, everyone's one photo is going to come up, and you want it to be your best looking photo because that's what's going to make people click. And then when people click on your listing, they're going to see the description. So that's when you can go into detail of if you're using materials, what exactly your product is, if you're shipping it out, if it's a digital download. So that's where people can really know what this product is and what they're getting. And Etsy also has categories that when you are setting up the listing, you can put it in. So like for the yellow earrings, I would put it in an earrings category, and that just makes it easier when people are searching. It'll come up for when they're searching for earrings. Tags are really good to use. They're similar to categories, but you can basically put any tags you want, and it's kind of like keywords, but it's not as effective as the title keywords. So if I was doing the yellow earrings, I would put a tag as like one for yellow, one for earrings, one for dangle earrings. And it's just like extra keywords to try to help you stand out. And then you do want to keep in mind if you are shipping a product, then you're going to have to weigh it and measure the packaging it's in when you're creating your listing. So Etsy knows what to price the shipment as. And then if it's a digital download, you don't really have to worry about that. You just have to make sure that whatever the download is, for example, if it's a PDF, that everything is good to go and they are getting it downloaded right away. And another thing is if it's a manual or auto listing renewal. So for example, if I've only made 6 pairs of earrings, I can either say after every one sale, I'm going to manually renew it another 5 times, or I can put it to auto renew for 6 more times. Or if it's a digital download, it's better to just do an auto listing because that's not really something that's ever going to sell out. And I can answer your question now.
For the shipping, is that just the product itself, or is the shipping included with the actual packaging as well?
Actual packaging as well.
Okay.
And then another tip for shipping is Etsy promotes more stores that offer free shipping. In the US, especially, you don't have to worry about that for international because obviously it's very expensive. But so when you are creating your listings, a great thing is you can fill out the shipping information, see like what Etsy would charge you, and just add that shipping charge to your total price, and then say I offer free shipping, because that means your listing will be bumped up. Buyers will be more interested because they're like, oh, free shipping. They don't know that you're adding the cost. And then you also get more views because Etsy promotes more free shipping items. And then I can just go ahead and share.
I have a question.
Oh yeah, go for it.
So basically Etsy is going to provide the shipping label, or?
So you have an option. You can purchase a shipping label through Etsy, print it out, and tape it to the package, or you can just go into your mail services and they will print it. I personally like to go into my mail services to print it and not use Etsy's label because I can find it can be a bit cheaper, and it's also nice to create like a relationship with who you're shipping with. And you can also have your shipments coming through like your business, like you can set up a profile. So when I ship it out, it's coming from Raw Reflections, not like from Tennille. And then your mail people like know you, and it's a little easier to, in my opinion, to do it like that. But there is the option to buy it through Etsy and tape it on.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
I have another question as well.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So when you're doing that, if you are currently from a residential home, would you put your own address, or would you do a PO box instead?
You just do the residential address. There hasn't been any like security problems with that from my experience, because I send things out from residential areas from where I live, and there's been no problems with that. But if you are more comfortable, then I would suggest getting a PO box, but it doesn't really make a difference. And let me just show the example. So I'm going to go to my listings and I'll show you, for example, this listing that I've made. So I have my title here, and you can see these earrings. They're made up from a lot of different crystals and semi-precious stones. So in my title, I added every single crystal that I used to make it. So if someone's searching for one of those specific crystals, it'll come up. And then just like gemstone earrings, crystal earrings, just to use like different wording. And then it'll ask like if you made the product, is it a finished product? When did you make it? Then here's like the category. So I put it in the category of hoop earrings. So if people are specifically looking for hoop earrings, it'll come up, but it also, Etsy tells you it'll be found in jewelry and earring categories as well. You can also, if you have a product more targeted to like kids or adults or different genders, you can say who your recipient is. And this is for earrings if it's not like a lobe earring, where is the location? And you can also put in material. I normally don't put it here because there is a tag area for materials, because people can't see this materials when they're looking at your listing, but they can see it in the tag section, which I'll show you. And normally I would put the gemstone in, but they didn't have the gemstones that I was using, and there's not a primary color, secondary color. Another great thing is if you're targeting things for holidays or events, you can specifically say what occasion or holiday it is for, and that will get you a lot of attraction during the holiday season. Here's my description. So I just gave an description of the materials I use, what metal I'm using, and then I'm like, give a little sales pitch of how it'll make any outfit look good and that it's lightweight, just my little spiel. And then here's the tags that I was talking about. I added all of the different crystals I used. Again, I added sterling silver and then like just crystal jewelry, crystal earrings, because those will like show up as a lesser version of keywords. And then you have the pricing, the quantity, and I have it on auto listings, so it'll automatically re-upload the listings if they are sold 3 times, because that's how many I have. And then if you're doing any variation or personalization, you can also add that in there. And then here's how like the shipping is calculated. You can say how many days like it'll take you to ship, so buyers know an estimate of when they're going to get it. So for me, it's 1 to 3 business days. And then here's where you fill out the weight information, the size information, and then here's you can preview shipping prices. So before you put it as free, you can look like, oh, if I was shipping it to Chicago, it's going to be this amount of money, and then like add a general price for like USA shipping into your total and make it free shipping if you wanted to do that. And then I just said, yes, you can advertise this listing for marketing. So that's kind of like the ins and outs of downloading a listing. Let me just check my chat really quick. Yes, so I selected hoop earrings, and then Etsy said that jewelry, earrings, those 2 categories were similar enough that my earrings could be in like multiple categories. So Etsy decides, you just say like the best category and they'll add if there's ones that you can also go into. And then yes, it's the item weight when packed, as you can see on the Etsy item size when packed. And then the item weight, it's also when packed. All right, let me go back to my slide. I don't personally use any apps for my keywords. I like to research on my own and kind of see what is popping up when I first search something, because it's always changing all the time with people selling out, new listings coming up, and just time changing. So I kind of trust my own research more than like a website, because I don't know like when that data has come out. And I also make like very specific jewelry that it's kind of like a niche in the jewelry market. There's not too many people like doing fine semi-precious stones. So I like to like see what other people are doing that are doing well and kind of get ideas from that. So now we go into billing. The first thing after you do your listings, when you're in the creating a shop, it's going to take you over to fill out your information. So it's going to ask for your country, your bank account info, your personal info. You can use your social security number or your ITIN number. that's really important because, as you can see, remember taxes, you will get a 1099 for the taxes at the end of each year from Etsy. So you got to remember to do your taxes, but it's really simple because Etsy has a lot of great features where you can see all the history of your sales and how much your earnings are. So they really break it down for you. So it's not as hard as it would seem. And then to explain the Etsy fees, it's 20 cents for every listing and every listing renewal. So just whenever you have a new listing go up, that's 20 cents. And then there is a 5% transaction fee that Etsy takes and a 3% plus 20-cent payment processing fee. And this might seem like it's a lot of fees, which it is, but the great thing about Etsy is, like I was saying in the beginning, is this is an already established marketplace. You don't have to really worry about advertising too much or trying to drive traffic onto your website or onto your store because Etsy has already done that for you. So that's what you're kind of paying for with the fees, is the convenience of having people ready to buy the stuff you're making or selling. And let me just check the chat. So the renewal is if you choose automatic renews. So you can do manual renews. Like I had those earrings set for the 3 inventory. So it's going to automatically remove 3 times. So that's 20 cents each time it automatically renews. So it'll ask what the quantity is and it'll go off of that. So it will last until the quantity is gone. So if it's like a digital download, most people I've seen that have digital stores, they'll put like 100 quantity and it'll give them like enough time to, if they want to like take it off their store or redo it or revamp it. So it just depends on what you're selling, but it's based off of the quantity. Any other questions before I move on?
I do have a quick question. Is there a limit as to how long a listing may be up?
Not that I believe. I've had mine up for like years, some of them. So it's really just whenever it sells out by the quantity. So the next steps I'm going to talk about is making your shop strong. And once again, I'm just going to go over the slide and then I will show you examples. So the main thing is you want your shop icon, which is basically like your shop profile picture, to be up so they can get a feel for your shop, as well as a shop banner. And this goes into thinking of your Etsy shop as a brand. And you want to do this because you want your shop to have a cohesive theme and emphasis on a single product, so people get a feel of what you're selling, so they know, like, oh, if, for example, with jewelry, like, oh, I'm going to this birthday party and I need a pair of earrings. Oh, I'm gonna go to that Etsy store that like fits my style because of like my Etsy page. They can get a feel for that. So your shop icon, your banner, and the photos that you're putting on as a listing should have like the same type of theme and feel, and Pinterest boards will really help for that, to get ideas and to kind of single out a theme and brand that you want to portray on your shop. You also want to put up a seller profile picture on your actual Etsy account that's not connected to the shop, because when people are on your shop, they can see in the corner like the seller, and then there's a little photo of you. And what's really great is Etsy is all about small businesses and supporting people that are just working on their little Etsy shops, and by having a profile picture of yourself, they can really connect, like, oh, this person is putting out these products or making these products and it's handmade, and I'm like helping someone instead of like a big corporation. So it gives them that connection. So it's really good to have that. You also have the feature to do announcements on your Etsy shop. And that's really great. So if you're having like any sales, you can promote your free shipping. If you have free shipping, you can promote your Instagram accounts, or if you are like dropping new listings, you can always put it there, and it's right at the front when they're on the homepage of your shop, so they can see everything. And then let me show you so I'm just gonna go back to my shop. So as you can see, I have my banner here, and I have my shop icon right here. It's this little logo. And then in this corner, I have my seller profile picture. And then my announcement here is just my Instagram. So you can get the same feel for that. And then I'll show you some other shops so you can get ideas of like themes and brands and how it all comes together. This is a friend of mine. He sells stained glass and wooden earrings and like plant holders, a bunch of stuff. So he has his banner here, and this is a brand new feature on Etsy that just came out. So I haven't had a chance to do this, but you can actually have like 2 photos in your banner. So it's like more to see. So he has these 2. And then he has his little icon here, his seller profile picture there. And you can see like it's a pretty cohesive feeling or theme that you get when looking at his shop. And another thing that makes your shop stronger and easier to navigate is having categories for what you're selling. So he has all his earrings, all the different materials he uses. So it just makes it easier to find things.
I've also seen people do sales. Do you recommend that?
Yeah, so you can do sales on your Etsy store as well. Especially sometimes Etsy will host like almost like competition events where it's like if you put your store on sale, have a chance to win a gift card. So that's fun. You can like do that. So Etsy also promotes that, and then you can make like an announcement that you're doing a sale. And then you had a question.
So apart from your Etsy account, do you also have a website, or do you just have the Etsy account?
Right now I just have the Etsy account because I do not have the time to keep up a website. I have been actually looking into making a website. I have a friend who makes websites, and he was like playing around with one for me. So it's definitely like something I would look for in the future. But I think what I've seen in a lot of like brands and people that have Etsy stores is that they really take time to make an Etsy store, and then they get like a good amount of buyers where they're getting like sales regularly, and then they'll move to a website. So they first like establish themselves on Etsy. So then there's like people that will go to their website that knows about them. I see someone else has a question. I can't see your name, sorry, on the Zoom, but you have the Hello Kitty sunglasses.
Oh, hi. My question was, do you have any specific way you collect email addresses so that you could send your customers when you're having a sale or when you're at a market?
I personally don't. I rely more on Instagram for that. So when I meet people at markets and I have like buyers, I'll really get them to like follow my Instagram, and then I will post on there like stories. And I find like younger people are more active on Instagram than on emails. So for me, like I get more attraction on Instagram. Like when I first started, I tried doing like an email list, and there's like websites, I forgot which one I used, but there's websites that will help you set that up. But I wasn't getting too much attraction compared to Instagram.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Let me just check the chat. So one of the questions was, how do you find markets that are willing to help and let you sell or leave your merch there? So I spend a lot of time going to farmers markets. So how I started was I made connections with people that were actually selling. Actually, the guy that I'm showing you his Etsy shop now is the Teardrop Glass Shop. I met him at a farmer's market, and then he got me in connection. He introduced me to like the head of the farmer's market. So it's really just about making connections, I would say, is one way to do it. Another way is I have researched farmers markets, and they will have like a become a seller portal almost like link on their website. And when you click on that, you can say like what you're selling, give information about yourself. Normally with markets like that, they you have to send a photo in of what your booth is going to look like. So if you have like a 6x12 table, they want to see it all set up so they know like fit their market and it like looks good. So that's something to consider if you want to do in-person markets. So it depends on the farmers market. If you are selling regularly, like going weekly to markets, then you do need a seller's permit. But if you're going once in a while, or there are markets that happen like every 6 months, like I know there's the Encinitas 101 market that happens twice a year and the Carlsbad one that happens twice a year. And I believe you don't need a seller's license at that one because it's like a once-off thing. And then let me just read the other questions. I already have an Instagram for my art selling. How can I grow my audience or find consumers? So I'll be going more over on this, but I'll give you like a little sneak peek for a good tip that I have found to come in handy is that hosting giveaways are really beneficial. You can just choose like a product that's not really going to influence or affect like your cost into that product and post like, I'm giving this item away. You have to be following me and you have to repost this on your story. So then it's like people that want to get this item will be posting it on their story and so on and so forth. So everyone is following you for the giveaway, but then they stay because they like your product.
What would you recommend for someone who hasn't shipped anything yet? How we would package our product? So I sell art, I have canvases. How would you recommend that we?
I also got a quick question for you. When you're hosting, do you and someone were to get something, do you offer them the free shipping or do you charge them free shipping? Or do you charge them the shipping?
If I was doing what?
If you were hosting and someone were to win the earrings, how you had mentioned prior to that?
Oh yeah, so that's really up to you. Most of the giveaways I see people like have the winner pay for shipping because it's normally like a minimal. So yeah, it's really up to you. And you can say that like in your giveaway post, like winner must pay for shipping. All right, and then I'm just going to show one more example of a store. This is for digital planner making. So you see they have also the little 2 banners and here's their announcement and here's just they also have the categories and some great listings. So there's really a whole lot of stuff that you can be selling. All right, so now that we've gone over the basics of Etsy, I'm going to start by talking about Instagram. So I'm pretty sure most of us are familiar with Instagram. It is a photo sharing app where you can make posts and share little stories of your photos and of your life. So the first step is you want to use that business email that you have already created your Etsy with and create your Instagram with it. Then once you have the sign up page open on your app, you're going to create a username, which you should use your shop name. If you can't get exactly your shop name, you can use the closest to it. So if you have to add a underscore or a period, definitely do that. It's not the most important thing to have the perfect username. I know that my Etsy store is Raw Reflection Shop and my Instagram is raw_reflections. So it's just has to be similar names. That's the basic things. Then with your bio, you're going to want to go to your edit your profile and there should be a website area specifically for links, and that's where you're going to want to put your Etsy link in so people that come across your Instagram can go right ahead and see what you have on Etsy as well, because I mean your Etsy might have more stuff or your Instagram might have more stuff, and that's what comes into play with selling on both sites. You also in your edit profile area, you want to create a simple bio about your shop and what you're offering. Some keywords that are really helpful when making a bio is you can say you're a small business, what you offer, your location, so people that are in your location know that they are supporting a local small business. And also if you order any custom orders, you can say direct message me to request a custom order, or if you're interested in any products. And then the next thing you want to do is to start posting photos on Instagram, because that is going to be what draws people into your Instagram. And I will show Instagram examples when I am done going over this. And let me just check the chat. I saw there was some.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there a way it can also connect to Facebook, or is that like old school?
Yeah, so you can actually, there's a website called Linktree, and it'll basically create a link that when you open up the link, there will be little boxes for each social media you have. So then that person can click on the boxes. So you can have all your social medias in one place. So like, let's say I had like a TikTok, a Facebook, and an Etsy for my business. I would just post the Linktree, and then it would list all those, and they can choose which one they want to go to.
On Etsy.
On Instagram. On Etsy, you can make like an announcement and say, here's the link to my Facebook, here's the link to my Instagram. You can do whatever you want with that.
So on Instagram, I would post that treat thing you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, of course. And then I saw there was a question. If someone from Instagram wants to buy a product, do you send them to your Etsy yourself from the DMs? So I do go over that in one of these slides, but let me just give you a quick overview. So when someone direct messages me on Instagram, I want to keep them on Instagram because I don't want to send them to Etsy, so Etsy takes away my fees. So I'm going to get into that, and I'll go over money apps that you can use to get your money from the person. So this is all about engagement, because engagement matters most on Instagram, and that is how you're going to get followers. So here's some really helpful hints to get engagements. The first one is to follow other Etsy shop owners, even if it's farmer market owners, just people selling, or just artists on Instagram that are doing similar things to you, and you want to interact with them, comment on their posts, like their posts, and you can also interact with their followers. So if you see, like for me, there was like a really popular jewelry brand, like has their own website, not even on Etsy, but I can go to like their commenters and start start following the people that are following them, because I know like, hey, they like jewelry so much, they're commenting on this really established brand's post, maybe they will like mine and come check out mine. You also want to use hashtags on your posts, so use hashtags that are related to what you are posting. You can also Google, because it's changing all the time, like top hashtags for November 2021 jewelry, and it will give you like a list of what are the most engaged hashtags to post. And you can also, like the same thing with going to interact with other followers that are following people that are posting on the same hashtag that are using. You can just go and like all those photos that are in that hashtag, and those people might follow you, they might check out your stuff. So it's really just doing as much as you can to engage. So you also want to advertise your new Instagram, that's your business Instagram, on your personal social media accounts. So just post a story about it, ask your friends to share it. I'm sure they will, just so that you can have a little bit of followers to start, even if you don't have that many followers on your personal, just like a handful, so it doesn't look like 0 followers, and because that could look a little fishy, like you could be like a bot account. And then the last tip is to try post multiple times a week, because you want to be relevant and keep relevant in your followers' Instagram feeds. You don't want them forgetting about you and not even caring about what you're doing. And let me just check the chat. I saw there was something. Thank you, Alexis. I will follow you. And so here is apps to use as payment methods outside of Etsy. So your best ones are going to be Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App. It really just depends on what the person that is purchasing from you is doing. And once again, you want to try to keep them not from, if someone messages you directly and is like, hey, I really love these earrings you made, I want to purchase them, then you can say to them right away, like, I accept Venmo or PayPal, give me your information and I can send you the earrings, and I will send you a shipping tracking number as well, so they know it's not like a scam. But normally someone can tell from your Instagram if you have like your Etsy shop link, if you have a little bit of followers, if you have sales on Etsy, they can like see you're legit and that you're not going to scam them. So they are trusting, as well as it's a good tip if someone on Etsy, like an example was a woman wanted a necklace customized to a special length, and I only had one left of inventory in for that listing, but she wanted to buy the exact same necklace for her daughter, and I told her I could do a custom order for her if she would just wait for the materials, because I ship the beads, if she would wait for the beads to get here. And she was like, no problem. So when it was time for her to pay, I was like, instead of making another Etsy listing, you can just PayPal me. So she just PayPal'd me for the second necklace, so then I wasn't having to pay all of the Etsy fees and I was getting more money in the end. So it's just something to keep in mind, to be smart about. If you can get out of Etsy fees, you should, because then you're getting more money in the end. Yes, you definitely want to charge first before you send the product. And I would suggest, if you are doing custom orders, do a deposit fee. So like half the price or a third of the price, because when I started back in my day with making jewelry, a girl that was a friend of a friend, so I thought like, oh, it's legit, you know, she's not gonna drop out on me. I made like a whole custom necklace for her, and then when it was time for her to pay and I was finished with it, she was nowhere to be seen. So I've learned my lesson, and I'm warning you so you don't have to learn it like I did, to make sure you get some amount of payment, especially for custom orders. And now we're going into making your brand pretty with photography, because photography is very, very important. People are visually looking at your products all the time. It's what's drawing them in, making them click on your listings. So the number one tip is lighting is key. Make sure you have good lighting when you're taking your photos. Literally just using natural sunlight is the best way to take your photos. For starters, if you don't want to invest in any lighting, that's honestly what I still do, because it just works better for me. I like the way it looks better than artificial lighting, and it's just easy to do. And apps that are really great to use when editing your photos for Etsy and Instagram is Photoroom, because Photoroom, like if you are doing a product that you kind of want like a plain background for, like for jewelry, for example, it automatically removes the background of the photo and you can place it with any photo you want. They have a lot of options on there, like you can do a wood background, clouds, just plain colors, plain white background. There's a lot to choose from, so your photos will look more professional, like you got it done in a studio with a great background. Another one is ViscoCam. It's great for filters, for adjusting the brightness, exposures, really making sure that the coloring is right on your photo, that it's just appealing and it's giving the right colors to represent what it actually looks like in real life, because sometimes taking photos isn't 100% accurate. So you can use filters to help that and adjusting the levels of the photo. Another great app is PicsArt, and it can be made to make photos more creative. You can also add text to photos. So excuse me, this, and I'm going to talk about it later, Canva is really great for making story posts, because you can add the writing all nicely and all pretty without being stuck with just Instagram's basic fonts. And PicsArt, like you can add flashes, you can add a whole bunch of elements to make your photos stand out and unique. So other photography and editing tools is Canva. This is a great website. it is free. There is a paid version for more elements, but the free one works just as great. And it can be used for designing your logo, your shop icon, your shop banner, any Instagram stories or any posts to any social media. And what's great about this is when you go on the website, it has basically categories of different social media posts and with a format already laid out. So all the sizing is correct. You're just adding in your own elements and designing it yourself. But that's really helpful, especially for like at the Etsy banner, because that's the measurements are not like an average photo. And you want, when designing something, to be perfect how it's going to be when you actually upload it. So that makes it so it's going to be the same. Another great tool is Pexels.com. It's free to use and it's basically just copywritten free photos. So you can take these photos and make them pretty, add text if you want to like start posting text on your Instagram and promoting yourself more. And you can use those photos they have on there without having to like go take pretty photos to be like a background photos for the advertisement of your giveaway posts that you're doing. Another great tool is a DIY light box, and you can create a light box just out of a cardboard box and white paper. And you do that just by cutting out the two sides of the cardboard box and putting white paper in the middle of it and just taking any light you have and shining it on to the white paper that's shining into the photo. And you can see on the photo on the PowerPoint how they did that for their plants. So if you, let's say like you have a day job and you don't have time to take photos in the day, you can do it at night with a DIY light box. And I will share the link in the chat to a really great instructional guide on how to make a DIY light box. Very simple. So I just sent it to the chat if you're interested in making your own light box. This is all about resources and how resources that you already have will be very helpful to help you start selling and promoting. The number one thing is friends and family. Ask your friends to follow your business, Instagram and Etsy shop. Don't be shy. Normally your friends are super happy for you and they will be wanting to promote your stuff. You can ask them to repost your Instagram and to promote it as well, and I'm sure they will. You can also, if you are selling like for me jewelry or clothing or anything like that, and you need people to model your products, or you just want to do like a more lifestyle photo shoot for like Instagram, you can ask your friends to be models because they will definitely be happy to help. Another thing is, like I've mentioned before, the giveaway, hosting a giveaway on your Instagram to gain more followers and support. And the third thing is that phones are great cameras. Don't be nervous to post photos or take photos because you don't have a professional camera, or you feel like you only have your phone and you're like, oh no, because your phone can be the only tool that you use for taking photos and even editing, because most of the editing apps are for your phone anyways. And that's the end of the PowerPoint. So thank you guys. And I'm just going to show you some examples of Instagrams.
I have another question. Do you think any sort of clothing would be something good to sell on there, or it's more like just jewelry and like arts, more artsy stuff?
People definitely sell clothing. Like I have actually bought a shirt that somebody screen printed. People that do like vintage clothes shopping, that are collecting like clothes that are really sought out for, especially if you're making the clothes, those really do sell on Etsy.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys. And then let me show you. So here's my Instagram. Just have my little bio, my Etsy link, and then I have just some photos of jewelry I've made. Then here's another one the Teardrop Glass Shop again, his Instagram, and he has almost 2,500 followers, almost 3,000. And he told me that the giveaways really helped his Instagram grow. So don't just take it from me. Here's some proof as well. And then I also want to show you guys, it's going to be sent along with the recording and the slides, but I found this little Etsy startup checklist. Let me just get it. Can you see it on my screen? Okay, thank you. So basically, this is just a little PDF workbook that you can print out, and it will help guide you if you're feeling a little lost and overwhelmed with all the information of starting an Etsy. It will basically just take you through and show you like some photo supplies if you want to invest in that, what's shipping supplies, you'll need software for better sales, 10 weeks of Etsy tests, so it will take you week by week on ideas of what you should be doing on Etsy once you open your store. So I thought it was just a really cute, helpful guide, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So yeah, do you guys have any other questions?
How do you do your shipping? How do you package your jewelry that you make?
So I get little boxes from Michael's or Amazon's, and it's basically like cardboard boxes that have like the pillow inside. So I'll put the jewelry in that. If not, I have these long cardboard like boxes, but they pop up and you fold the ends. So I'll put the bigger jewelry items in that, but I'll make sure to put like tissue paper inside. But if I'm using one of the boxes, what I do is we'll put that in the packaging, but I'll tie like ribbon around it, and then I'll put like a thank you note and some stickers in there. That's if I'm using the boxes. I've recently been, and that's mainly for earrings, because I like hook the earrings into the pillows on the inside. Then for like necklaces or bracelets, I have these little like star organza bags that you like pull close, and I got like a big pack of those. So I'll put it in that. Then I'll take like that little cardboard pop-up thing and I'll cut it in half. I'll fold over to one side and like use ribbon to tie it, and then put that in like the packaging with the sticker and the the thank you note. So that's like how I mainly do it. It's kind of like confusing, but you'll like figure things out once you go,
That'll be the next workshop, right? No.
Something?
I had a question about your like markets.
Yeah.
Do most markets have like a flat fee, or is it a percentage of your sales, or just depends?
It depends, but for what the main one I did the Ocean Beach Farmers Market, and I'm not in San Diego anymore, so I would be happy to like introduce you to people there if you wanted to do markets, but they do have a website that you can email the organizer of the market, but that's really good market to start at. And how it worked, it might have changed because after COVID prices might have gone up, but before COVID it was a $60 flat rate, but if you made over, I think it was $200, then you gave like a 20% of your earnings.
Okay, that's similar to a fair I did many years ago for the Boys and Girls Club. It was, that if you went over a certain amount. So I was just checking on that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. But it's definitely helpful to look up markets in your area, because most of them do have a website where you can fill out your information and talk to someone about getting into that market.
I have a question. Oh, I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
I just had another quick question.
Yeah.
Tanya, is there a certain amount of product you like to bring with you? Like, do you have a certain dollar amount in your mind and you bring that much product with you, or you stock that much on your Etsy site?
I normally bring things that I haven't listed yet on Etsy because I'm like, oh, if it's gonna sell here, I'm not gonna take the time to list it. But I never have like a dollar amount in my mind. I kind of just bring enough to fill the table so it's not too cluttered or too little, and that there's like enough to sell.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You don't try to create a competition from the people who distribute it to you, where they want you to sell their products on your site. And hey, these products usually perform the best. Right now, I'm going with these products. Unless one of these products falls, then I'll give another one a chance.
So my question was actually, I was wondering, so when you sell off of Instagram and you get a DM about an inquiry, do you mail it out from your personal address, or do you try to get a PO box, or how do you think would be the best way to go about that?
I personally mail it out from my personal address. Just because most of the people that have reached out to me on Instagram, like I can go on their profiles and see it's like, oh, she's a mom, she has a family. Like I feel like safe enough to give them my address. But like I think I said this earlier, if you don't feel comfortable giving out your address, I would definitely recommend getting a PO box. But I have been selling online for a long time and there's been no problems with it safety wise. And then Lisa, you had a question?
Yes, and thank you, Tennille. You've shared a lot of great, valuable information with all of us this evening. So I first want to thank you for that. And then my question had to deal with, is there a way to limit sales on the Etsy site? Because from personal experience, during the holidays last year, I ordered an ornament, and I think the poor seller got bombarded with all these Christmas orders and she wasn't able to fulfill them. And then I found out after Christmas that she automatically canceled my order. So I think that would be something of a concern of mine, is getting too many orders, not being able to fulfill them. Is there any way to set up alerts or something that says, hey, you got 50 orders already, you better turn this off?
Yeah, so with the Etsy, when you create a store, you have like the store manager, and I kind of went into that if you guys saw. And on there, and there's also a phone app as well. But through your email, and if you have the app, you'll get alerts for every time you get an order. And then on the store manager and on the app, it'll say like active orders, which are like orders that you need to fulfill. It'll be like, so if you have like 50 orders, it would say 50, and it would keep alerting you. So you would know at all times, like, how many orders do I need to do? How many orders have I shipped out that I'm waiting for the person to get it, and like how many orders are like completely fulfilled. And if you do get overwhelmed, there is an option to put your shop on like a break. So it'll say on the shop, like, this shop is like taking a break right now and no one can order things, so it allows you to like catch up. And then Kat.
Hi, so my question is, when you're doing listings and say you run out of a quantity, but can you draft a listing and save it for later, maybe when you get materials?
Yeah, you can definitely. And you can also, so say like you put so much work into this one listing, but it's sold out, you can relist the old listing. And then Allison.
Thank you. Sorry with so many questions.
No worries.
One of my fears I've had an Etsy site for many years, and I sold a long time ago, but haven't reposted in years. So all this is very helpful. But one of my fears is that my product would fall apart. Like, do you have a policy on, like, if your earring, like a certain time period, if your earring is broken? I do crochet items. And I was just thinking, like, if someone washed it and like 6 months from now, and of course it wouldn't come unraveled, but if something like that happens, do you have like a return policy or anything like that?
I offer like to fix it. So I would be like, you can pay for like the shipping to send it to me, and then I'll do like I'll fix it for you, because it's different with jewelry. I'm not sure if like how much work would go into crocheting something and fixing it. It sounds like it would be a lot, but like for jewelry, like let's say like if something fell off, I would like offer them, oh, send it to me, I'll fix it to you, I'll send it back. But luckily that has never happened to me, so I don't have too much experience with that.
Do you have anything written on your Etsy page about that, or no?
No, I don't. It's normally Etsy, like once people buy your item, they normally go to private message you, and that's where like a lot of words are exchanged. So that's when you can like, they can ask, like they'll ask like, oh, like what's your return policy, and then you can be like, oh, 2 weeks or something, and then they kind of know. It's very like hands-on working with the buyer. So it's pretty rare that you'll have someone like, just especially like a personal item with like jewelry and I imagine crocheting, they really want to know what they're buying or if they have like any requests, so they most of the time will message you after.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is this messaging you after they purchase it, or is this prior to them purchasing it?
It can be either. So either they like give the money and then before you ship it, they'll start messaging you and like being like, hey, can you add this, or like, can you do this? And then I'll be like, sure, it'll be X amount more, and then they can like PayPal me or whatever. But then also I've had people before they buy be like, oh, is this possible if you do this, or like what happens if this, and then you just like answer their concerns.
I had another question too. I just wanted to confirm if this was true. I saw that on Etsy, when they pay you, your money goes to almost like an Etsy account that holds the money.
So it's basically like, do you have like a Venmo?
I do.
So you know, like when someone pays you on Venmo, you have like a Venmo balance and then you transaction it in your account. So that's basically what it is, but you can't like use the Venmo balance like you can like with a Venmo card. But you can set up like on my Etsy, I have like weekly transaction. So every week, if there is money in that account, it'll automatically be taken out. And then Alexa.
Is there a way I can depart?
Sorry?
Is there a way I can depart at this point? Because I think we're just asking questions, right?
Yeah, we're just doing Q&A now.
Oh, is it okay if I leave and I still get credit for this?
I'm not sure with classes. I imagine so. We're done with the presentation.
Yeah, well, we're gonna send you a questionnaire, email it, and if your instructor is going to give you extra credit, then you put the instructor's name on that form. So we'll email that to you.
All right, so I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So my question was, how would you go about pricing? How do you know if you're pricing your product, too high, too low, or just at the right amount?
So I would say a lot, the like main problem with when people start a small business and price is that they really undervalue their product because they're like, oh, I want this to sell, like, oh, is it too expensive? But I would really say like, don't undervalue yourself, and I would take note, like, how many hours does this take me to make this if you're making something, or like how much effort and thinking puts into that. Then you want to take what I do, and my friend who also has a small business, he's like a photographer, so he has helped me when I was like didn't know what to do as well, and it was really helpful. He said, so you take like your material, so if I am making a necklace, I will say, okay, I use this amount of beads, this wire, blah blah blah, and my material cost me this much. Then you take that and you double the materials, so you make the materials back, and then you want to take into account your hourly pay, basically. So it's like, oh, this necklace took me 4 hours to make. I want to make $15 per hour for this necklace, and then you add it onto there. So it really just, you kind of take in your materials, your time, and then like the values. Because like if you're like, oh, I'm using these materials that are really hard to come by, they're really rare, I've been waiting forever to use this, you can like obviously up the price. And if you are like using expensive materials and doing like really, like a lot of my earrings, it's like really fine wire work and it like takes forever and it's like really hard to do and like intricate. So like for those I will like add a little bit more because I'm like, I put so much into this, like, you know, it's worth what they're getting. Like this isn't gonna just fall apart. It's not gonna like hurt their ears or anything.
Are you allowed to change the price when something's been listed, or do you have to create a brand new listing?
No, you can change the price. You can edit the listing at any time. Thank you for everyone's kind messages and for being here and listening to me talk. I really enjoyed sharing my knowledge with you guys, and I am excited to see what you guys come up with in your small business journeys.